The beginning of the World War II in Europe. Before World War II began, the Nazi Germany started the Anschluss. The Anschluss was Germany invading Austria. And then happened the Sudetenland in 1939. It was the invasion to a north piece of Austria. After this, Germany took Bohemia and Moravia. And then, the 1st of September in 1939, the World War II begins with the invasion of Germany in Poland. Then Poland was split into one half was for Germany and the other half was for the USSR. Then the USSR invaded Finland in November. The Nazis invaded Norway and Denmark. In 1940, the war had two teams. They were the Allies, that was the UK, France, and later was USSR and the USA. And then the Axis power, that was Germany, Japan, and Italy. And the non-aggression pact was between Germany and the USSR to not attack each other. In 1940, the Nazis invaded Belgium, Luxembourg, and Netherlands. All this with the purpose to avoid the defending line called Maginot Line built by the French people. Then Germany entered into Paris, and 3 or 4 parts of France were occupied by the Nazis. Then the battle for Britain begins. Then the Italians invade Egypt, Greece, and Romania.
"1941. In this year was a special date because the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, so the United States entered into the war in the 9th of December of 1941.
1941. The Nazis started Operation Barbarossa against the USSR. The army was divided into 3 divisions, one to Moscow, one to Leningrad, and one to Kiev.
Then in 1942 happened the Battle of Stalingrad. This battle was in the USSR. Then happened the massive murders of Jewish people in Germany. Then the first American troops arrived in the UK, and then happened the Operation Torch, which US invaded North Africa. Then German and Italian unoccupied Vichy France.
"1943. Germany withdraws from the Caucasus. The Soviets begin an offensive against the Germans in Stalingrad, and the German surrender in Stalingrad. In North Africa is the Casablanca Conference between Churchill, Stalin, and Roosevelt. Germany retires from Tunisia, North Africa, so the Allies start the invasion to Sicily, and they win and start the bombing Rome and the south of Italy. Mussolini is arrested and the Italian government falls. Then the Nazi German reconquer Rome and save Mussolini. 1944. Leningrad is released by the USSR and Germans surrounded in Crimea. During June 5, the Allies enter into Rome, and in June 6, the Allies enter into France during the D-Day. This day was the biggest operation of World War II and also one of the bloodiest battles. The Operation Bagration begins. This was the summer offensive from the USSR. The Allies start moving to the south and liberate Paris in August. The Allies liberate Athens in September, and the Soviets reach Budapest at the end of the year.
Then, Germany in 1945, Germans withdrew from the Ardennes. Many concentration camps are liberated. The last Nazi offensive of the war takes place in Hungary and they are defeated. President Roosevelt died before the war ends, but the next president of the United States is Harry Truman. The Soviets reach Berlin and Mussolini is killed by the Italians. On April 30, Hitler commits suicide. May 7, all German troops surrender, and finally, in May 8, is the Victory Day. In this day, the war ends in Europe.
World War II was one of the bloodiest conflicts of history, in which many people, civilians, soldiers, and ethnic groups died. The number of deaths were huge. This war lasted for 6 years, from 1939 to 1945. The war brought much poverty to Europe and destruction to the cities and towns.